Welcome to the Gita in Action podcast. My name's Radha, and I'm here with our family of seekers on this very auspicious day. We were just talking about this right before we started recording. It's Ekadasi, so that's a super auspicious day. But in addition to that, today is the day that Krishna recited the Bhagavad Gita. So this is like the holiday for the podcast, 'cause this podcast is centered around the Gita, and today is like the Gita's birthday. So it's a special day. It's really exciting. And today we are in the ninth chapter. We're cruising through the ninth chapter, the most confidential knowledge. So it's kind of appropriate. We're getting into this to the real heart of the Gita on the Gita's birthday, Gita Jayanti. So before we start, let's say the prayers. Shakti, can you say the prayers for us?
Thank you. Thank you. Om Jnana Timirandasya Yananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Umilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Bhishtam Shtapitam Yena Bhutale Svayam Rupa Kara Mayam uh, Dandati Sva Pandatikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Parakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathan Vitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savarhutam Parijanas Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Visakan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabando Jagat Pate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namosute Tapta Kancha Garungi Radhe Vrindavanishvari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Prananami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavembhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Saranta Swami Iti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Prachayane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashtataya Tarayane Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadahara Shri Vasada Guru Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare.
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you, Shakti. Okay, so we are going to start today um, with verse 4. So, chapter 9, verse 4 is where we're starting. Chapter 9, verse 4. And we also were talking about just today in kind of honor of this most auspicious day, about reading also the Sanskrit today. So not just the translation, but also the Sanskrit. And maybe Stella, you can start for us, read the Sanskrit and the translation.
Okay. Maya tatam idam sarvam jagad aryakta murtina matstani sarva bhutani nakaham tesva asvatitaha.
Perfect.
By me in my unmanifested form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them.
Beautiful. Thank you. And thank you for doing that for the Sanskrit. None of us are Sanskrit scholars. None of us, are this isn't our native language or even close to it. So we're just trying. We're just trying. And with that, Krishna sees our effort and our heart in it. And So even if the offering is imperfect, it's perfect when Krishna sees our heart. So beautiful. And okay, so yeah, the fourth verse here. So Krishna's shifting, we're kind of shifting into a new theme, and that is his relationship with the material world. So up until now, he's spoken about bhakti, he's spoken about faith. We talked about faith a lot in the class before last. But now he's explaining how he interacts with creation, how he interacts with creation, and it's fascinating. So he's saying, in my unmanifested form, I pervade the entire universe. So what does this mean? If we remember back in chapter 7, Krishna explained that everything we see, the material world and the spiritual energy, everything exists because of him. So he's the source. He's the source of everything, like the sun. The sun rays is his energy. And he's also the sustainer. So he's the source and he's the sustainer, but he doesn't just create and then walk away. No, he pervades everything. There's a beautiful verse we talked about before, like a thread running through a pearl necklace. He pervades everything. And just like a necklace, you don't always see the thread, but without it, the whole thing would fall apart. So Krishna is that invisible, essential thread holding everything together. Let's just let that sink in a bit. Krishna is that invisible, essential thread holding everything together, that without, everything would just fall apart. Right? And to think if we really imbibed this realization throughout our days, really knowing that Krishna's holding everything together. You know, sometimes we think we're holding everything together. I know I think that. I'm holding everything together. But it's actually Krishna who's holding everything together. And if he wasn't, there would be nothing. Right? How much appreciation would we have if we really imbibed this? So this is his immanence. This is his presence within everything. So when we talk about that unmanifested form, again, what we're talking about here is the Brahma Jyoti, his all-pervading spiritual effulgence. Again, think of it like sun rays from the sun. It's its energies. It supports and sustains the universe, just like the sun rays. They provide heat and light. You know, it supports and sustains everything, and it spreads everywhere. Right? The sun rays, they spread everywhere, and without it, there would be no life. So this is Krishna. Krishna is the sun, and the Brahma Jyoti, the sun rays, are his energy coming out that sustains everything and spreads everywhere. And every living being exists within Krishna's energy, within his shelter, within his consciousness. So when Krishna says all beings are in me, this refers to his super soul feature, the Paramatma. He's present in every heart, but he's also present inside the entire universe. He's the soul of the universe. Just like all fish live within the ocean, all living beings exist within Krishna's energy. So think about that. We're all within Krishna's energy. And then he says, but I am not in them. So that he's saying, yes, everyone exists in me, but I'm not limited by anyone or anything. So he exists inside the world as the super soul, but he's also beyond the world in his original spiritual form. We talked about this too. Again, we're just getting deeper and deeper into these concepts. So he expands everywhere. He's everywhere, just like the sun rays. He's everywhere, but he's never contained by anything. So he's not affected by the three modes of material nature. He doesn't get tired. He doesn't get exhausted. He doesn't change by what's going on around him. It's like the universe depends on him, but he doesn't depend on the universe. It's like pretty amazing, right? It's hard for us to even relate to because we're all these things. We're so affected by the modes of material nature. We're tired, we're exhausted, we're changed. Right? We're changed by our surroundings. We think everything depends on us. Right? Right? But for Krishna, he's none of those things, but the whole universe depends on him, and he doesn't depend on anything. And there, Prabhupada would often give this example of a king. A king is present through the entire kingdom, maybe not physically, but through his laws, through his policies, through his representatives, his influence. He kind of sets the culture for everything. Oh, or even like a CEO of a company, they set the culture of everything. Their presence is everywhere, even if they're not physically there. Even if they're off in their private office, they're not so involved like in the day to day. They're untouched by the disorder, but they're still there. Their influence is still there. So this is Krishna. His influence is everywhere. His energies maintain everyone, but he remains in his eternal blissful spiritual world. And this is something we can't understand with the material senses. Everything we just talked about, it's like beyond our conception. God's relationship with the material world, it's inconceivable to the material mind. We just can't relate to it. We can't understand it through logic, right? But we understand it when it's revealed to us. When we approach God with a sincere and humble heart, right? Those things are qualifications of bhakti, right? And he reveals these things to us. And this is by his mercy. This is by his mercy. And that's it. That's the only way that we even have a chance of realizing these things. And he decides to reveal to us through his mercy. And so this is why he's explaining it step by step. And so in the next verse and the rest of our discussion today, we're going to go deeper into this. We're going to go deeper into this paradox of how he's everywhere but nowhere, how he's involved but uninvolved, and how he's within everything yet beyond everything. And if we can really again understand this, realize it, we can have such an appreciation and attraction towards God because it's really inconceivable. It's really inconceivable. Does anybody want to share anything before we move on? Shakti.
I just wanted to share this really famous, amazing verse and talks about the Atma and the super solar power Atma, Para Atma, and it's the visual is the two birds sitting on the tree. It's a very
Mm,
famous verse in the Gita, and one is the Atma and one is the Paratma. So it's verse 1020 in the Gita, and it talks about the translation is I am the super soul, O Arjuna, seated in the hearts of all living entities. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings.
mm,
So it's basically your soul and the super soul, and the two birds are sitting on these branches, like sort of in your heart, in your soul. And so they're both there. They were always there. You know, we forgot, but they were always there. And so we're just, we're sitting there and the two birds are just hanging out. And it's just a really beautiful visual of the soul. So you, and then Paratma. So you're sitting there with Krishna. He's there.
mm.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, he's within every one of us, and we're just turned away like eating the other fruits. And he's just waiting patiently for us to turn back. Thank you. Okay, so we'll move on to 9.5. And Shakti, do you want to try this one?
Let's see. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger. Okay. Na cha mat stani putani pasya me yogam astvaram buddha brahna cha buddhasto ma mamatma buddha
Bhavana.
bhavan aha. That's it.
Perfect.
Mm.
Nice. Beautiful. Okay, so sorry. I'm so used to just one. Let's do the translation too.
You take
Bella.
this step.
Okay. And yet everything that is created does not rest in me. Behold my mystic opulence. Although I am the maintainer of all living entities, and although I am everywhere, I am not a part of this cosmic manifestation, for myself is the very source of creation.
Beautiful. Thank you. So we're getting deeper and deeper in this. Again, in the previous verse, Krishna said that all beings rest in him. Now he's saying everything that is created doesn't rest in me. So it's kind of like, what? It kind of sounds like a contradiction. Now Krishna's basically saying what he's saying with this apparent contradiction is just see how inconceivable my power is. He can defy the laws of nature. And he's the maintainer of all living beings. He pervades everything. He's the soul of all manifestations, the soul of each of us, like Shakti was talking about, or he's inside each of us. And also he's the super soul of the universe. But yet, he's not caught inside the material world or limited by it. So he's the source of everything, but he's not contained by what he creates. And these apparent contradictions are actually invitations because through them, Krishna's lifting us to this higher level of understanding. It's showing us that he can be both within everything, but also beyond everything at the same time. At the same time, he can be within everything and beyond everything. Right? So there's a deeper unifying truth that holds both these statements together, even if our mind can't fully grasp it. Right? And this is why we need to have a teacher or a guide to try to take us through these verses, this text. It's because if we try to digest it alone, we might think, like, God's inconsistent. What's he talking about? He says one thing, then he says another thing. Like, what does this actually mean? But the acharyas are showing us how these paradoxes, they're actually glorifying Krishna instead of weakening the message. Because let's think about it for a minute. He says, I'm within everything, like I'm maintaining everything, but I'm not overburdened by it. And this is kind of like unbelievable. I can tell you with pretty solid level of confidence that most of us here, or all of us here, we can't do this. Right? We get tired just managing our inboxes or our house or our kids' schedules. Right? But Krishna, he doesn't even strain. Like he's not even exerting himself. Right? It's not even a struggle to keep the universe running. He's not feeling overwhelmed by the responsibility of creation and maintenance. It's just things are just happening. They're just happening through his energies. It's like effortless. So this verse is also saying the burden of the world does not burden the Lord. The burden of the world does not burden the Lord. And this is why also like we carry around all these burdens. We think we're the controller of everything. We have to do this, and everything relies on us. Right? Where if we could just give a little bit of that to God, right? He can handle it effortlessly. Where it just bogs us down completely, right? Where it can just bring us to our knees. We're not designed to carry all of that. We're not designed to carry all of that. It's and when we learn that, when we learn to turn back towards God, like Shakti was talking about, and when we learn to turn back towards God and allow Him to carry some of the burden for us, right? When we experience this relationship, and we can do that, it's like a weight's lifted off of our shoulders, and it's like nothing for God. It's like the burden's just not even there. And that's what Krishna is looking for us to do. We usually talk about yoga as our effort to connect with God, right? Our sadhana, our practice, our discipline. We talk about those things all the time, right? But here, Krishna is showing us yoga from his side. He's revealing himself so that the connection can happen. So on our side, we have to endeavor. We have to endeavor. But none of it would actually work unless God wanted to be known and chose to reveal himself. And this is revelation. This is the revelation that we're talking about. We can't understand these things through logic, through just reading them, right? Through just desire. No. It has to be revealed to us. And this is when Krishna makes himself knowable and accessible. This is also a kind of yoga. It's his reaching out so that the relationship can form. So we don't have to feel, disturbed by these verses because they seem contradictory. We can celebrate them because we can see that God's doing these extraordinary things. He's being within everything, yet beyond everything. He's maintaining the universe without being affected by it. This deepens our appreciation so much. I mean, just imagine that, maintaining the universe without being touched by it. It's like you're the CEO of your company, but you're not touched by it at all. Meaning that like it doesn't influence you. It doesn't you're not like carrying a huge weight on your shoulders. It just happens effortless. Everything happens effortless. And you do it without being attached. You do it with just out of your pure love. This is God. This is so hard for us to conceive, but this is God. And the more that we can really realize these things, the more that our faith grows, our devotion grows, the more that we feel just like awe, like in awe, right? And our gratitude grows and our love grows. And that's where Krishna's trying to take us here. He's saying, behold my mystic opulence. Like understand this. Right? He wants us to marvel, to feel wonder, and to realize that this person that I'm trying to remember and serve is so much greater than I can imagine. And yet he's choosing to be in relationship with me. Yeah, like anybody ever dated someone that you're like, oh, this person's totally out of my league. Right? Like God is out of all of our leagues. Right? But he's choosing to be in relationship with us. Right? And this isn't something to get stuck on or scared by. It's something to rejoice in because he's just like eons beyond us. And this is where when we really imbibe this, people that really imbibe these spiritual truths, they naturally become humble because they know I'm just a tiny little ant. It's like our rightful position, not in a self-deprecating way, but they understand the greatness of God. They understand how extraordinary God is, and in that understanding, they see, look, they see that they're dependent on God, and they see and they develop this natural humility as they understand things in their right perspective. There's no need to be proud. Nothing is even mine. It's all God's. God, any gifts I have, God gave them to me. So, what do you think?
Yeah, hello, good morning, everyone. Um, so I'm trying to like kind of take the bigger message of this and kind of also something I'm kind of struggling with and trying to I don't know, reconcile or integrate it, I should say, with that. Um, yeah, so God is like this I get it, you Krishna, it's just bigger than all of our, material earthly woes. So one of the things, and I'm really struggling with this, so I'm glad this group is today because one of the things I'm like, my son has like chronic health issues and illnesses. And so it's like being the mother, like the child cries and the instinct is come and swoop them up and coddle them and make them all better. And, and I know I'm not going to get into too much with my son 'cause it's kind of complex, but some of it is how we choose or choose not to address our health needs or neglect them. And then they become, if you neglect something, of course, over time, whether it's a spiritual matter or health matter, it becomes this big thing all of a sudden, and you're just like, slam hit in the face with it, and you kind of it becomes a crisis at that point. Um, so with my son, and I don't know if this is even like the I struggle. I'm kind of because I have to because I'm trying to like yeah, we each have our own like dharma and a dharma, right? So I'm kind of grappling with, and also I think as mothers and our children they're a material bond, they're a material attachment. So we have to practice this in our own familial structures. We can't just say, oh, this is all great, and yeah, we're not materially attached, but yes, you are. So because we all are, because we have these interconnectedness, we have these relationships. So with my son, while I'm trying to take a supportive role, but one of detachment, which says, his karma, dharma might be this path, and you know, it's kind of like has to be one of supportive non-attachment. You know what I mean? Like you
Yes.
have to set a limit. You're going to do so much, and he might be set on this course of kind of this self-destructive path, and I don't know. As a parent, it's very just very like you want to pull him out of it, but I don't know
Mm,
that you can. And I mean, you're not God, you're not Krishna. That's the only thing that can, has that kind
yeah.
of power. But so I'm trying to. I don't know. I don't know if anyone else has countered this with relationships, any kind of whatever. Yeah, I mean, it's like I don't know. I'm trying to I'm trying to help with limits
Mm,
and respect his path and realize that the outcome or watching that, while it may be painful to me, like I have to somehow emotionally detach and respect, like, well, maybe that's his path. I don't know. I'm sorry, I rambled,
yes.
but
No.
it's a struggle.
I think it's such a real thing. I was just talking to my mom who she hosted Thanksgiving at her house and
Mm.
she came up with these questions where everybody goes around the table and answers these questions. And one of them was, what's the hardest thing about being a parent?
Mm.
And I asked her what she said, and she said watching your kids struggle. Watching your kids
Wow.
struggle
Yeah.
is the hardest thing about being a parent. And my daughter's really little, but I can imagine that because this is like the ultimate realization for us. I mean, this is a huge realization for us, and Krishna gives us these material attachments, our children, our family, to teach us these things that look, we really don't have any control. We really don't have any control. It's not up to us. We can't save them. We're not
Mm.
God. We have to realize that. And to the extent that we don't realize that, we suffer. And to the
Mm.
extent that we can realize that, we're like set free. And it doesn't mean that we don't love and we don't have affection, but we understand that our kids are not us. Our kids have their own karmas, their own paths. And just like you said, we just have to love them and support them in that. And that love and support can look very different depending on the circumstances and the time in the child's life. And children really teach us this because the harder that we try to hold on, the more that we suffer. And some people fail the test. We see it all the time. They're holding on
Mm.
so tightly and they are suffering so much and they cannot let go, like no matter what.
Yeah, and the cautionary of that is because I had to learn a lot on my trip about self-love and opening up to it. And if you're doing if you're doing things that are neglecting yourself and become consuming and onerous, you start to build resentment, you start to build an anger, and it's very dangerous, it's very destructive. That's where like lashing out comes. That's where all kinds of really regrettable things can come. And like, so it's like he wanted to move back in because he's convinced in his OCD mind that there's something in the environment he can't be there. And I'm like, I just know that my well-being is a lot better with a degree of separation, and I was not really welcoming that because I just said, hold on, no, if you open that pathway, then it's harder to back out of those things because they just become this force and this natural
Hmm.
progression and momentum. And I don't know, but then while I have my peace, my mind is like, oh, is he suffering? Is he able to wake up today? Is he sick today? You know what I mean? Like all this
Mm.
stuff. So it's very hard.
Yeah. And that's so important though, like you said, to be there for yourself. I
Yeah.
think before I got into spirituality, I tell you, I thought I was God. I thought I could handle anything and everything. I completely neglected my actual needs, like just cruise past them. And it was just straight up suffering. But
Hmm.
to be able to acknowledge, I'm a human being and my capacity is so finite. And to the degree that I'm trying to exceed my capacity to prove my worth or be loved or again, I'm going to suffer. I'm going to suffer and I'm going to make everyone suffer around me. So I have to find that spot where I'm comfortable and I'm secure and I have to build boundaries around it so that I can actually give and receive love from a safe and healthy place. And that's beautiful too, when you realize that we're actually finite and our capacity is finite. And God is infinite and his capacity is infinite. So we can also learn to rely on that relationship more and more. And that's where love is bred, right? That's where the real selfless, loving action comes from for yourself and for others. When it's a product of that relationship with God, because he's infinite and we're finite. And we have to realize that. Lift those kids up to God, Stella says. Yeah. You say, look, this is all I can do, but I know God can do so much more. So I'm going to pray for my kids every day,
Yes.
wholeheartedly. Like just, and I'm sure you do that. And understand that God can take care of them. We really can't. I was just listening to a lecture that said that the other day. Like even parents, even with young children, like they think that they're completely taking care of their kids. And they are on some level. They absolutely are. But it's really God that's taking care of them. It's really God that's taking care of him. We're just under the illusion that it's all us because we haven't rightfully understood this principle. And that is that we're finite human beings. And God is the Father. God is the Father, God is the controller, God is the sustainer, not us. Best we can do is create boundaries such that we're in a healthy and stable place and then reach out to God. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for sharing all that and how strange that you had that thing, had that question at Thanksgiving and how relevant it is to this conversation. Like no coincidences, right? And yeah, and I was just sorry, I'm getting like all tearful because there were mother and sons like when I went to India and he wasn't there and I really wanted him to be there. And I met this beautiful family. His name was Krishna, was his dad, and the boy was Manesh. And I'm sorry, but I'm blanking on the lovely wife's name, who also teaches Sanskrit and something else. If you guys really want to learn, I don't know. She's like a language teacher. But Manesh just sent me a WhatsApp today, and he goes, and he plays football, like, and he goes, I really want to play football with your son. When you bring him here. And I was just like, just like, my God, I hope he can be well. I hope you can physically remove someone anywhere physically in the world from one place to another, but you can't always free them of what's plaguing them in their mind. You can't.
Mm,
So
yeah.
yeah, it was just like, yeah, that was really, because I mean, while you hold this image of like them being, and I think that represents like a freedom of what we suffer, playing the football and
Mm,
with the boy, joy, just this kind of
mm,
embracing joyfulness, togetherness, and you're with God and with Krishna, and yet they're suffering in themselves.
yeah. Or what to speak of, we sometimes have to accept that we can't even bring our kids, like our kids may never reach out for that relationship with God. And that's also something that we have to accept. And that can be so hard because we just see our kids going around on a hamster wheel of life, like
Mhm.
getting knocked out, getting knocked. It's like sometimes we have to accept. All we can do is just be that loving example and pray for them ourselves, but it's not up to us. And once we realize this, it really should set us free. It's not up to us. And our capacity is so small. All we can do is offer them love.
Yeah,
That's it. And then what they do with that is up to them.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
it's, it's
It's
way easier said than done, but this can
well,
also be
but
such
then
a great,
you may offer things and then people don't accept. Just like I don't know about you guys, but I find myself I literally can't go anywhere. Like my friend had a thing where her husband, a memorial service because he passed away. And it was music and all this, and I had started a conversation with one person there, who was physical therapist, also put, a lot of things in common. And I was like, oh, Krishna consciousness and this and that. And, this is the harmonium. And like, I like everywhere I go, I'm talking about this stuff to everybody and anyone. And I hope I don't sound like I'm trying to convert people, but it's just, how you share
yeah,
something that's exciting that works that you found. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. We don't offer though so that people accept. That's not. We
Right.
offer because, just like when you love somebody, you don't love somebody so that they love you back. If you, some people do, and I mean, that's also very human, but that's like love mixed with fear.
Mm,
Right? Love has no bounds. Love it's causeless. You just love, right? And that's what we offer. And when we can do it from more of a place that's selfless, where we're not attached, where we're not doing it so that a certain result comes. Again, this is what breeds more love.
mhm,
And this is the stuff. So again, it's like put on our own oxygen mask first
mm.
before we try to help others, or we'll be trying to put theirs on hoping they'll put ours on afterwards, and it's never going to work. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Shakti. Shakti also has a son who's 19 years old. I think
Well,
yours
my
is
son
your
just
son.
turned 20.
Wow,
This
you
is the
guys
one
have
that I'm
sons
talking about. Yeah. And
sons the same
I have a
age.
21-year-old. Yeah. Oh, well, it's going to be 22 soon. Yeah. He just turned 20. That's the one I'm talking about. And I brought him many times to our kirtan, and I brought him to New Brindavan. So
Amazing.
he's yeah,
That's all you
he's
can do.
gone with me several times. So trying to get him to go again.
Perfect. What do you think, Shakti?
I have actually two things to share, if that's okay. Um,
Yeah.
the first thing is about my son. He is all the things like I know that you feel about yourself. Like I'm really emotional because I can relate to what you're saying. But I could think just like how we have people a little bit behind us and people a little bit ahead of us, and so we're all on this path, and but we can help each other by linking, right? And I had to realize that he's not mine, and I can love him up and kiss him and tell him I love him. Um, like I'll say every single day, I say to him, "Oh my God, I think I forgot." And he goes, "I know, Mom, you love me." Like, so he knows it's in him. And I've seen where he was, trying to, like in high school, in that time where they're trying to fit in. And he's actually skipped a grade. And I say that only because he's with people, got boys that are like a year and 2 years older than him. So he has this trying to fit in situation. And it was really rough for me, because he was doing things that, not, thank God they weren't other things, but, like he was vaping and then lying about it. And then I'd find a vape and
My
it was
son had a problem with that too. Sorry.
yeah, so it was just like that thing, like, and then he would say, I'm like, if you're vaping, just tell me, I'm here to help you. I know, and I want to, and then I would, like, he's like, I'd want to take all the vapes, but like, he can go buy a vape, like, he's 19, he's in university, right? So I'm just, like, one morning, I went to wake him up for work or school or something, and there was a vape in his hand. This is like the day after he told me he quit vaping, and it was in his hand, so he fell asleep with it. And I said, I looked at it and I cried. I just cried, and and then I woke him up and I said, please just be honest with me. Like, I love you. If this is where you're at, I love you. If you need help, I'm here. Um, and until you are in that place, I am here too. And I still love you. If you vape, I still love you. So he and that was it. And I think he said, like, are you gonna take it? I said, no, no. Like, it was like, and this has been like a couple of years with this vaping issue. And I just let it go. I had to let it go and just know that, Krishna has it. And this is his journey. And he coughs and he coughs and it makes me so like I want to I want to poke it when he coughs. I want to go, see, because you're vaping. Stop vaping. And I used to do that, like almost try and shame him, and that doesn't help him. If I try and shame him, it just makes him feel more horrible about himself. So I just have to love him with the vaping, even though I don't like it. It makes me scared. I'm afraid he has asthma. So there's all these other things that come up, Zoe, so I understand it. But we to the degree that I don't let go of that, like Radha said, that's to the degree that I suffer. And so I had to let go of his journey and know that Krishna has him. And and it may not be the journey that I see, you know. And then like I don't know, the other day, I'll say this just really quick. The other day we were saying, when are you coming home for the holidays and this and that? And he said, and I'm a yoga teacher, Pilates teacher. I've been in fitness. I'm healthy. I've just always been this way. Radha knows this, I think, about me. And I said, and so I'm always trying to like, you should let's work out together. Why don't we work out together? Like I have a gym downstairs. And I'm like, you want to do fitness? I have the TRX. I'm trying to do all these things. Not now, but I was trying to like figure it out. And then you know what happened? We called him, George and I called him the other day, whatever it was. And he's like watching the Nick game. And I said, so how you feeling? When you coming back? I didn't ask him about the gym or whatever. He goes, yeah. I was like, I'm feeling good. I lost, and he wasn't really, it's not fat. He just was like getting a belly, the belly from school. He goes, oh, I lost 8 pounds. I don't know how many pounds. I lost
I said
eight.
8 pounds.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I lost 8 pounds and been going to the gym and I'm feeling really good. And I could see it like in his eyes that they were clear. And I just thought, wow, that's really great. I'm so proud of you. Are you, great. And then I just moved on. Like I didn't harp on it
Mhm.
because if I harp on it, it again, to the degree I do that, Radha, or all of you, that makes me suffer. So I was happy for him. He knows how I feel about it. He knows very well. And I was like, wow, that's great. That you feel, I was great that it's great that you feel better.
Mm.
Not that he's working out. It's great that he feels better. That's all I
Mm.
needed to say. Then I moved the conversation on to something else because
Well, no, because in the moment you, as the parent, if we like the moment you start to criticize them, then they suffer,
right.
right?
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's they don't want that.
Yeah.
Yeah, they feel that attachment and and the kid just wants to please the parent. Ultimately, the kid just wants to please the parent, no matter how like, defiant they seem. They still love you, they still want to please you. And then when they feel like you have certain expectations and it's not happening, then they're upset and this is what happens. This is like the tug of war. But and this part of it too is what you're saying, figuring it out, that you have to approach these situations with just love and detachment. And the more that we cultivate a relationship with God, the easier this is even for the parent to do. It's not like it becomes more natural because we have God on our side. Yo, thank you so much, Shakti. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank
Stella,
you.
thank you.
Yeah, and there's also a wrinkle when you are following a path and um the child sees that, you also have changed over time because of that path, and they can't be there. And I this is just a small little wrinkle of like we've experienced with our kids, like they feel some disappointment even in themselves that they're not, like, how do I put it? Like, it gets into that area of where they feel that they don't want to disappoint us.
Mm.
And the more it's like the material world is so twisty because the more that you're showing, unconditional love and kindness, almost the more, if their path is still strewn with a lot of hurdles and karma, that they feel even more disappointed in themselves if they can't live up to what they conceive of as your standard, even though you continually tell them there is no standard in my love for you. They still, sometimes I have found with our kids, and everybody says, like, oh, your parents are so great. And it's like, oh, don't tell them that because, they'll know, our old, some of our kids were like, how could we ever find, have a marriage like you guys have? And how, like, like, we're, we don't know how it happened. You just live your life. Like, go on, live your life, and things will happen. And remember Krishna. It's such a fraught minefield. All these things. I feel for you all. I pray really hard for everyone who is a mother. But just know that if you have loved them like that, it's deep in their heart and it is a life buoy to them, even though it looks like they're drowning. They
Mm.
actually have a flotation system.
Mm. Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, and off
Krista.
of that, Stella, that's because I might of the thing, just like recently, I was dropping off my son, and he said, "I'm sorry, I'm not, successful." And I said, "Just find your relationship back to God." And he was like, "I'll try." And that was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally. That's it right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Beautiful. Thank you. Katie, what do you think?
Hi, both. I just wanted to share that wow, I mean what wonderful examples you all are providing, and just it's so apparent to see Krishna through you. Um yeah, just uh and to know that like parents have these thoughts, and that there isn't such a high bar, and to just like Krishna, you're always accepting, always focusing on like, oh, you turned back to me, great, oh, you turned away from that, we don't need to dwell on it, like, wow, I just wanted to point that out, and for someone who's felt over my life really that like, this may sound a little weird but maybe not, like, oh, she's like the gifted and talented. Oh, she's the smart one. Like more pressure and a higher bar at home,
Mm.
at work, still till yesterday, like it's and I think that's relaxed in my family, but it certainly is still there in other aspects of my life. And like it's tough, to feel like um there's a higher bar to be accepted. And yeah, I just really wanted to lift you guys up because it's such wonderful examples. So to all of you who were just speaking,
Katie,
thanks.
I just wanted to say, that's the thing with my son is that, he skipped a grade. So he's like always thinking he has to be the best and get this award and get that award. And like he wants to change. He's changing his university. Like I don't know, he's just switching up. And he goes,
Uh-huh.
is I'm thinking I'm gonna do this. I said, yeah. I said, if that's what you feel like you want to do is, well, I know that you wanted me to get a master's and you wanted, and I don't want you to be disappointed. That like that word exactly. And I said,
Mhm.
I am so proud of you. Like
Mm.
you're making a change. You want to do something different. You've sent out all the paperwork. You've done the work. You're just sharing it with me. I said, the last thing I want is for you to be unhappy. So do what makes your soul happy. It's really,
Mm.
Mm.
it's yeah. And so it's
Hi,
they
Krishna.
take that on, right? Katie, you take it on.
Mm.
Don't parents love
Well,
you.
healthy love from a
100%.
parent can be so healing, huh? Wow.
And I mean, that's one of our, Krishna as a parent, Krishna as a friend, Krishna as our hopeful God, Krishna as a lover. Like there's all these aspects that we can learn and use, and exist.
Yeah. And the more that we purify our relationships here too, the more that it kind of breaks down the walls between us and Krishna. When we realize that our parents accept us and love us for who we are and that we don't have to be anything, or it helps us to love and accept us for who we are. And
Mm-hmm.
in that,
Mm-hmm.
understand how Krishna loves and accepts us for who we are. And there's a level of freedom there. So this parent child relationship, it's so important and it's so beautiful, all the realizations that can come from it, and the way it can ultimately bring us closer to God.
We can rest in God. Our children can rest in us. And
Yes.
I just felt inspired too that from this, resting in. Maybe that's something we could say to our kids. You can rest in me. Like you don't have to do anything. Like you can feel rest when you're with me. Like how can we be that they can come to us and feel rest? So I feel like Krishna is like just going, rest in me, you know?
Mm,
So maybe we can pass that forward to our kids.
yes. Yeah. I feel like I spent a large part of my life trying to make my mom happy, get her approval in a way that was like subconscious, that I didn't even know, that I kind of like didn't pursue things that were actually like truly me or in my heart. And even when I got into spiritual life and my mom was like, she was accepted, but she wasn't really, and that caused so much tension,
Yeah.
and it came to a place where like I had to feel like it was more important to choose what I resonated with than worry about my connections. And what happened was is I saw my mom like step up. Like my mom was not going to let it go for like nothing. Like now she comes to the podcast, like she like, and that's a parent. Like like you think that they won't accept you or that, but really like they'll step up with you. And in that, both of your hearts open, and it's like a beautiful dance that you learn and stretch and grow together. Yeah. What do you think, Aaron?
No, I think I agree with Katie, just like taking in all of this wisdom. Where I am in my life right now, I feel closer to the defiant child than the wise mother that all of you are and are sharing. Um, but yeah, so I'm just sitting with and trying to like, take mental notes and have these lessons for the future.
Yeah. Same. We'll all be calling you up as our babies grow. And remembering
Yeah.
these conversations, because I'm sure it's so much harder once you get there than you really can imagine. Yeah. My daughter just threw up on me the other day, and it was, or yesterday, and it was like, just seeing that amount of pain in her was like, ouch, this is so scary. So yeah, what to speak of, they get older and you just literally have no control. You can't just squeeze them tight and bring them into bed with you. It's like you have to just let them go. Yeah. But Krishna has got it all. Krishna can do it. He can be involved without being touched by it all. He's like the pure example of selfless love that we can aspire to be more like, to exude more of those qualities. And we can lean on that relationship when in the midst of all of these, and it can make us stronger and better parents and better, spouses, and because we have that foundation, right? We know who we are, we accept who we are, and we know that God loves and accepts us no matter what. Just like you're saying, when you love, when your child feels love and acceptance, they can rest in you, and they can feel so healthy. And the same thing with us and God, right? We can rest in God. We can know that we're loved unconditionally. We can know that He has our back. We can know that He's our best friend, right? And in that, we can have so much more to offer ourselves and our families and our communities. So this relationship it's so paramount. It's so essential for all of the other relationships. You water the roots, and the branches grow. So this is what we're doing here in this Gita in action. Right? This relationship with God, it should be living. Right? It should be something we think about frequently during the day, that we see in our lives, right? A relationship that we talk to God frequently. Right? Not just like in a set of prayers that you recite, but no, as we're going through our days, we're talking to God. We're cultivating this relationship. Does anybody else want to share anything before we adjourn for the day?
I was ask everyone for a prayer today. I'm having a retirement party at work, and it's supposed to snow 4 inches during it. But also to it's a situation that I want to try to. I feel the urge to be the center of attention and to try to not be in a certain way, like in my heart and mind, to remember that it was all Krishna's ability in me that gave me that career and all of that. So just please pray that I remain Krishna conscious in a situation in which Maya could really trick me. Thank you.
Beautiful. We will. Thank you.
Where are
Thank
you
you.
at? It's going to snow. I hope you're not near me. I hope it's not going to snow. Is it supposed to snow here too? I don't know.
Oh yeah, I'm in Iowa. It's supposed to snow four
Oh,
inches this afternoon.
oh,
And
you're
we
in
had
Iowa.
12 inches over the weekend. So
What? Oh
yeah,
my gosh. Yeah.
yeah, a lot of
Mm.
shoveling.
Yeesh.
I,
I'm
I
not.
think
I'm
it's
not
coming to
ready.
Pittsburgh, though. I think it is coming. So,
No. 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 No.
yes,
I don't have time for
yes,
that.
yes. Beautiful. We will definitely pray for you, Stella. It's such a nice. It's beautiful. It's perfect. Okay, my friends. Well, I will see you all on Thursday. And thanks for coming and sharing your hearts and doing the work. This is the work, right? Being real, being vulnerable, being open, and seeing ways that we can let God into our lives more. That's why we're here. Thank you all, and I'll see you on Thursday.
Thank you, Rhoda. Thanks.